What's up, you bastards? It's Mike here. Just sitting around here on a Saturday morning. Um, Something's been bothering me all week, and it's not that it's. This isn't a new thing. I mean, we all know this. Thought terminating cliches, or more specifically, empty platitudes. We had a couple of podcasts, it was a week or two ago. Uh, and we get all this shaming all the time, but No Filter did a real, he was heated, and with good reason. This whole, man up, oh, you're just losers, you can't get a woman, all this stuff. It's one of those things, it's like, it really irritated me how people just throw out generic and dismissing statements like that. And I mean, he was heated. He was pissed, and with damn good reason. So I wanted to go over a little bit today over some of the ones that I've heard, specifically in relation to relationships, male-female dynamics. But I kind of want to touch a little bit on this bullshit of, as I call it, the holding hands, kumbaya, let's everybody get along type thing, stupid shit we hear in the workplace. Because this also has a very big effect on, everybody, but men personally, their drives, their style as to how they problem solve and get things done. So, it's just, you get these thought-terminating cliches, these platitudes. They're empty and maybe not quite so much baseless because they sound true, but it's a generic, just stock, right off the shelf statement, and it's mainly used for stopping, terminating, ending, quelling, smoothing out of social situations that may be a little bit awkward or hard to deal with, or just generally put people in a state of uneasiness. And it's, like I said, it's a thought terminating cliche. You want to just kind of squash the conversation, and no, we don't want to tread on that ground. We don't want to talk about this. Because I think people don't really want to do any introspection or dig down deep inside at what's really going on. So, a couple of these, like I said in the, a little earlier, have to deal with relationships. And, you get this, people like to, throw this stupid shit out when, you don't have a girlfriend, or you don't have a significant other, or you're not dating, or whatever, and you get this, oh, well, don't worry, eventually you'll find somebody. There's somebody for everybody. And it's like, really? You were pretty much putting this out there as long as you sit and wait with your head in your hands, somebody will come along, there's somebody there. This is fairy tale thinking. This is ridiculous thinking. There are people that you can tolerate. There are people that you can get along with easier and better than others. There are going to be a handful of people that you will get along with nearly without any question, without any conflict. But unless you're dating yourself, which is an impossibility, and even then, I mean, don't you argue with yourself on what you want to eat, where you want to go, what game you want to play, what do you want to watch on TV? So even yourself, you're not the most perfect person in the world for you. I would say you're the best person in the world for you. You know what you want, and you know how far and how long you're going to be willing to take things. But this whole, there's somebody for everybody, oh, don't worry, it's complete and total garbage. Same thing with every pot has a lid. It's just another flavor of this stupid crap. Um, Good things come to those who wait, and I think that's pretty much the same. This will pretty much be applied in any situation, though, but it's like, so I have to wait for things to just happen to me. So I'm not allowed to exercise any agency, not allowed to go out and talk to people, meet the people. You just gotta wait. Somebody will come along eventually. Let's see, another good one. Oh yeah, I'm running down this list here too, because there's so many of them that I can't even think of off the top of my head, because there's just so many that get thrown at us from a day-to-day basis. Oh yeah, the old Albert Einstein definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. Sometimes you just have to practice. I mean, what about playing the guitar? So you're going to keep playing and playing the guitar even though you suck at it, but then you're expecting not to change? I mean, I'm hoping eventually, with enough work at it, doing the same thing, practicing, you will eventually become better at it. I guess there are certain situations where this applies to. I mean, you know, we talk about all the time about, you know, the women who stay with abusers and people that just really don't care about them, mistreat them, and they stick around because, oh, he'll change eventually, one day things will be different, things will be better, and they never end up getting better. And I guess it's mainly when you're talking about with people you're dealing with here, but this rule doesn't apply always, because you'll notice a woman will stay in a relationship for 20 plus years with a man who beats the hell out of her, and yet the same guy, you know, somebody else could play the guitar and be practicing and practicing, and by the end of that 20 years could be up on stage performing for a bunch of people. You know, one situation has not changed and the other situation has changed, and there's nothing being done differently from point A to point B. So that's one of those things. Things like, it is what it is, such is life, what will be will be. That's kind of a no shit statement. Like, yeah, no shit. Life isn't fair. That's another one. It just pretty much puts the lid on and just caps it off as, this is it. Well, you just got to accept it, that's it, this is the way it is. And some of us, I'm one of them, I can't really stand having that happen. I can't stand to sit here and be told, no, you can't, you shouldn't think about it, there's no way you're going to be able to change it. Because, I mean, certain things can be changed, certain things can be helped, and if they can't be changed or helped, they can damn sure be, you know, walked around and avoided, at least mitigated, so that the effect is less. Let's see, so some of this crap, I mean, there's this whole list here. I'm really not, I really didn't have a specific script or a specific direction other than just kind of rattling off some of these and my reactions to them, because I think for most of us MGTOW-minded individuals, MGTOW men, when you really dig down into these things and you really have your eyes open to what's really going on in this society, you will find that there are a lot of blocks, there are a lot of roadblocks in the way, or little roadblocks in thought and thinking. I mean, the whole YouTube thing, censoring videos and demonetizing content, and, you know, some of these people and everything who are making money and everything just hand over fist off of pushing this MGTOW message, I still don't think a lot of them get it. And on one hand, I agree with a lot of people in that, no money should be made off of male suffering. But I also have a caveat: unless that money goes to charity organizations. I don't see a problem with monetizing and asking for PayPal donations or Patreon, as long as you turn around and then donate that money to a worthy cause. Men's shelters, helping with alimony, for some unfortunate individual who, say, fell on hard times, and somebody who needs legal fees for false rape accusation or something like that. I think we all need to get together and use the power that we have for this good. And with as many messages and as many voices out there and angles that we can come at this, there are plenty of ways, plenty of means for us to be able to help other individuals, instead of just like stockpiling this money. I mean, it does seem a little unfair. I mean, if you want to make money, start a gaming channel. If you want to make money, I don't know, do like some of these guys and make these hacking channels. But some of this information that men are opening themselves up to in a, I guess, safe-ish environment. I mean, we're still not immune to criticism from the outside, but we have our groups of people, which we all should be working together, but we have our groups of people, a place where we can go to talk with like-minded individuals, where we don't get this thought-terminating cliche going on all the time. We get this, oh yeah, here's one. Better to have loved and lost than to not have loved at all. Like, okay, well, if you're talking about experience, everybody goes on about experience. I mean, you should skydive off a cliff. Well, it's better to have skydived off a cliff and broke your neck than to have never skydived at all. Isn't that kind of self-defeating? Better to have touched that hot eye and that hot eye on that stove and know what it was like to get burnt than to never get burnt at all. This is just ridiculous. This is just encouraging people to do things that maybe they would want to do, but maybe encouraging them in such a manner that they feel like they have to do it. That's the way I felt a long time ago. This is probably one of the more profound ones that really screwed me up when I was younger, when I was in my blue pill days. Was especially, being a virgin, like, I just want the experience. I gotta have the experience. It was just kind of like a badge of honor or some shit, like some, badge, some crown, some, decal that I just had to have. And so I really didn't care who it was. I just wanted somebody. And when I got that somebody, I got a whole lot more than I bargained for. I mean, the anxiety of wondering what's going on, what are they doing, of course that mate guarding and stuff too thing kind of adds in there, because now that you've waited so long and you've got this thing now, you don't want to let it go. And I think that's, a lot of people, if we can get a lot of men to stop this I need a badge of honor thing first, maybe they wouldn't be so willing, so uptight in trying to hold on to this thing that they felt like they worked so much to get. When, in all honesty, my first one actually came to me. She actually wanted to start talking to me, so it's one of those things, though. I just wanted to have that experience, but it's also at the same point, you get some. I've had some, but of course they're still wrong anyway. But or at least wrong in their mind, wrong-headed. You get these better to have loved than lost than not to have loved at all. End of sentence, full stop. Don't want to hear anymore. Let's just move on. And it's like, well, why not just instead, which we still all know the climate. Why don't we just instead try to talk to this person into how to get what they want? I mean, if this is something that they want badly and they're going to end up wrecking themselves over it, I mean, at least say something better than this. Like, well, you have to get out and talk to people. Sometimes, sometimes people don't want to associate with others who are awkward or are shy or, I don't know, dressing better, eating better, exercising and everything. That helps because, I mean, at the same time, you wanna be with somebody that you're attracted to, and I think they would expect the same of you. So, I don't know. A lot of these people, though, they don't want to take it the extra step. And I'm not, I'm firmly in the notion that just relationships are a waste of time. They really are, because you end up losing yourself. I mean, you end up being in all such of a hellfire hurry to get this thing, and then you don't realize. I mean, it's kind of almost like, kids and everything, when they want animals, when they want pets, and then they realize that the dog needs fed every day, the dog needs walked every day, the dog needs to be cleaned up after every day, and given a bath once in a while, and watched over and trained to not jump up on the couch or steal a steak off the table. And I don't care how well you train and keep after this dog. If you leave a steak on the table and walk out of the room, it may take a well-trained dog a couple of minutes, maybe even a half an hour. But that dog will eventually, if it thinks it's not being watched, will eventually grab that steak off that table, if it thinks it can get away with it. So, I mean, you're really in an all hellfire hurry to get into something that you're really gonna have to put way more work into than what you think you're going to have to. And I say this more as applied to, people who've never been in a relationship, the untouched and everything, some of these TFLers. Because you're really going to be walking into a situation where you're going to have to put in way more effort than the reward you're getting back. Which is another thing. You have to be willing to put more effort in than what you're willing to get back. Not necessarily. And I understand, yeah, you got to be willing to sacrifice some things. But just this general statement leaves the door open for just massive amounts of, I guess, dishonesty. You then, you come to find out you get berated and belittled, and, like my first relationship, she sat around the house all day long. She was on disability, which that should have been a damn sign there too. Wasn't real bad looking. I wish she'd lost a little bit of weight. She had a bitchin' body up under there, and she was young, but she was, bipolar and all that shit. And you don't want to mess with bipolar and borderline personality disorder. You do not. If you've ever dealt with it, you know the nightmare. But she would sit at home, play games all day, drink Dr. Pepper, smoke cigarettes, and I would have to come home after working 8 hours, make dinner because she couldn't cook. Had to make dinner, then tried to sit and eat it in some kind of peace. She was also the type, she wanted to be all over me, and yet if she wasn't all over me, she was completely like on the other side of the apartment. It's like you can't find a happy medium here, somewhere. I did most of the cleaning. It took me, almost, figuratively, it took me figuratively to have to pretty much twist her arm to get her to do anything as far as getting the dishes done and stuff like that. And yet when it came down to asking her to do these certain things, Well, what did I come here for? Just to be your maid? Well, no. But you're talking about having a family. You're talking about, having a kid and all this stuff. You're going to kind of have to put in some. I mean, I'm over here busting my ass every day at work. Sometimes there for a while I was getting all the overtime I could get just to keep bills paid up and food and all extras and everything in the house. And all she would do was sit there all day long, badmouth me to people she was playing games with online. And yet, she still had the nerve to complain about, I didn't take her anywhere. I didn't give her certain things. I didn't this, I didn't that. In that situation, who was actually giving more into the relationship and who was actually taking more? And at a certain point, you have to stop and look around and go, all right, yeah, I know I gotta give more than what I expect to receive, but this whole door has been open here for her to just take advantage of the situation entirely. We get this thing with work and everything too. There's no I in team. Remember, less me, more we. And then you're busting your ass and everything, and a couple of months later you look around and you realize you're the only one really doing shit. You're the only one really coming up with ideas. You're the only one really giving a damn about keeping things clean, keeping things straight and neat and organized, trying to standardize and trying to teach everybody and get everybody on the same page. And it wears on you. It's like, well, wait a minute here. Less me and more we, but yet every time I want to suggest something, you want to squash that down. And yet then all of a sudden something happens and everybody's supposed to just, like, my boss right now, my supervisor, has got about 3 or 4 books on his desk about team building, how to be a team, how to this, how to that, learn people skills. It's like, if you really have to learn this shit from a book, I really think you're doing it wrong. With us men, we can just go into a situation, see what needs to be done. All right, well, I'll go over here and I'll grab this thing, and you go over here and you grab this thing, and while we're doing that, could you help grab this thing over here and bring it back to us? And before long, especially, after you've been doing the job for so long, you don't even have to say anything to anybody. I mean, they get it. There's this symbiotic relationship between you guys. You just kind of look at each other and you give that nod like, yeah, I know what's going on. A lot of times I'll see one of the guys doing something on the forklift and I know exactly what he's going for. I know exactly what he's getting. So I'll be right there so the man don't have to get off the forklift. We gotta put some dunnage down or something to move a stack of something or whatever over. And so instead of him getting off the forklift and moving the dunnage and putting the stuff down and getting back on the forklift and on and off, I'm like, oh, I see what he's doing over there. All right, just stay on there, man. I know where you're going. Just move your load and I'll pick this, put this up here so you can grab this and we'll be on our way. There is no meeting, hand-holding, no this, that, and whatever that's got to go with trying to get something fucking done. At the same time, I think it is people don't want their feelings hurt. People don't want someone in the group wanting to innovate and create and learn and try new things because the rest of the group either feels left out, maybe walked over, maybe they just feel like they don't want to put the effort in, maybe they legitimately feel like it's not a good idea. But a lot of things get squashed in a group setting like this, especially with all this group talk and team speak and all this other, happy horse shit, because somebody's afraid of getting their feelings hurt. Somebody's afraid of having to take a back seat to a better idea, a better question. So, it's that same, everybody gets a trophy, type shit. We're all equal. We're all special. We're all this and come on. I work better with the computers and everything. There's another guy who works a hell of a lot better with the equipment. There's another guy who, is better with logistics. We all have our certain subset of specialties. But when, you jump up and, hey, I know how to do this computer stuff, and let's do this, and let me teach everybody how to do this. No, sorry, we can't do that. Well, why not? Well, everybody's got to be on the same page first. Yeah, that's great. Set them down with me, man. I'll teach them what I know, and we'll get stuff going. Well, no, we just can't do all that. Like, wait, what? At some certain point, you kind of have to give up. Because they're dead set and determined on doing what they want to do, and they have the power to make it happen. And that whole, no I in team, less me, more we, together we are better, shit like that's just thought terminating cliches. That's just no, that's the way it is. Let's stop it, put it down. It feels good. It feels nice and warm and fuzzy, and so people like that. People tend to gravitate toward things that make them feel better. Certain things like just pick, think outside the box. What box where? I mean, if I try to come up with something too radical, oh no, we can't do all that. What, we got to all be in the box? Is this a cardboard box? Is this a plastic gaylord? What are we? Let's think about how we got in the box, and wonder why we have these boundaries. Why are we in this box? I know I'm kind of sounding literal, but I'm being more figurative. But it's stupid. It'll all look better in the morning. No, it won't. Problems don't go away overnight. The best things in life are free. Yeah, to an extent, but the way this society has kind of been arranged, you have to have money for food. You have to have money for... You can't even get one of them little houses and live off the grid in the woods somewhere, because technically you have to be connected into the grid. They will find you, hunt you down, and either arrest you or make you connect somehow. Preferably arrest you first so they can get more of that money. Some of the best things in life, though, are free. Solitude, peace of mind, contentment, just being able to be alone with oneself. A lot of people cannot do that. You see a lot of people string after string of relationship after relationship, and can't you just learn to be alone? One of my other girlfriends, she just got hot off of a divorce. I didn't realize till a couple months after dating her that the divorce was very recent, and wondered why the guy she tried to go on dates with wouldn't call her back for a second date. And it's like, well, maybe I think you have to start figuring out who you are first. Maybe you need to take some time alone, figure out what you want in life, where you want to go, what you want to do, and then maybe try to let somebody into your life. Because how in the hell are you going to be able to live with anybody who doesn't even know themselves? How in the hell are you going to live with anybody if you don't know yourself? It's ridiculous. It's childish. It's the constant need for validation and attention. Most men, it's still wanting that attention and validation that they got from their mothers, and women from their fathers, really. And just like in the inner cities and, well, anywhere else. It could be anywhere else. It could be out in the country, for that matter. But it's usually a product of single mothers, and I'm sorry to say, single motherhood is rampant in the inner cities. That's where you get all this gang activity from. Because these kids, these boys, don't know what it's like to have a father, and so they just go on this idealized version of what they think being a man is about, and so they want to go fight and kill and rob everything in sight, except for their homies, which even then, let one of them step out of line, let one of them have more than what they have, and they're next on the shit list. So it's this overcompensation, and I think men overcompensate for, what a father is and everything, while still wanting that mother attention. Women, on the other hand, who are a product of single mothers, they, again, don't know what a man is like, what being masculine is like, and they have to go off and find the most hyped up version of it. It's usually not what they want. And they're going to try to find any and everyone who closely fits that to try to help them and validate them, because they're missing that I mean, yeah, their mothers validate them somewhat. I think mothers validate young boys actually quite a whole lot, quite too much. It makes them soft. But women don't really, I mean, they may get more special privileges and things like that, but I never heard my mother tell my sister, "Oh, you're mommy's little lady. Your mom, help mommy out, dude. You make mommy proud." No, from the earliest age I can remember, making her coffee when her back was out. Your mommy's little man. Your mommy's little helper. Help clean this up and help out, mommy. And even now, I even confronted her about this. I'm like, why is it that any and everything that I do, you're just so proud of? Like, I went to school, big whoop. I graduated, big whoop. I mean, most people do, most people should. Oh, but I'm so proud of you. Got a job, was able to hold down my own place for quite a while. Oh, I'm so proud, you're doing so well. Like, I live in a shitty 1-bedroom apartment here, a car that barely fucking works, and I'm miserable beyond belief because, at the time I really didn't quite know myself and I knew myself, but I didn't really know my place in life, where I wanted to go, where I wanted to take it. Even now, I'm a little bit better off than what I had been the last, 15 years or whatever of being an adult, 15, 16 years. Still, it's, oh, I'm so proud of you, and you turned out this, and you turned out that, even though your daughter tried to kill you and damn near starved her children and all that shit to death. And it's like, Mom, I'm not doing, like, these amazing, wonderful things. I'm convinced that I could go out and shoot somebody in the head tomorrow, and you'll go, oh, but you handled that pistol so perfectly. It was such a clean shot through the head. I'm so proud of you. So I told her, I said, you kind of got to stop this, because I feel like I can do no wrong in your eyes. Why can't you give me a little bit of criticism here? Help me out. What am I doing wrong? Because, I want to improve and get better. I don't want to be complacent I don't want to be complacent in where I'm at in life. And I think that's a whole of, men get all of that, and they want to work at and do better. I mean, they're told, be nice, be considerate, be helpful, be this and be that, everything that their mother would want them to be to take care of them. But when women are out there finding the bad boys, that's not what they want. It's only later, when they can't get the bad boys, that they want this thing, this nurturing, this attention. And most of them who don't get it through an older male figure will end up imparting this wisdom on younger people, on their offspring, on their male offspring, in the hopes that once they are then finally too old and feeble to even take care of themselves in any way, shape, or form, that their sons will be there to take care of them. They want the man that they wish that they had married, and by this time it's too late. So that's, a lot of this stuff is just, people don't want to think that far ahead. People don't want to realize that, oh, there's a reason things happen, and it's because of this and because of this and because of this. Well, if it was meant to be, or it just wasn't meant to be. I still don't believe in, fate, karma. I don't believe in any of that bullshit. That whole the brain knows 7 seconds before it's going to do something shit is. We do have that subconscious activity going on in our brain, and that's about it. The brain takes in and processes way more information way more quickly than we will ever be able to imagine in this lifetime. The mind is already gathering information about what's around it and what's, possibly going to happen based on what has already happened before. And so your body, your mind, your subconscious is already preparing your conscious memory, your conscious mind for what it's going to do.
So this 7-second thing, yeah, your brain has decided way back in the back of your mind because it's already analyzing future scenarios. It's not this preordained book from the heavens that's got everything wrote down in it shit. So it's, and that's a lot of things that people don't understand. They want to just throw it out of their hands so that they don't have to deal with it. They don't have to think about it. They don't want to have to put in any effort to actually drive toward or away from something. Oh, well, it is what it is. It wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be. Blah, 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 whatever. See, this really isn't a thought-terminating cliche, this one, but it's more of an overused word, is respect. I hear this shit all the time at work, and it really, really irritates me. Well, we need to be a team and treat everybody with respect. Well, exactly what is respect? I mean, the dictionary definition is treating someone or something as if it has value. Well, fine. We're all human beings. We're all somewhat semi-valuable. I mean, we can be more valuable if we put effort into it, but I mean, just by the sheer virtue of you being alive and walking and talking around gives you, even although be it a small amount, some kind of baseline of value. Right off the bat. If you're talking about respect in that I'm not going to reach around the corner and grab a baseball bat and knock you in the head and steal your money, yeah, I have that kind of respect for people. I'm not going to do that. I don't want that done to me. I wouldn't want to do it to anybody else. I'm not that hard up for money. I mean, if I were that hard up for money, I would ask first. I would beg on the street before I just beat somebody over the head with a baseball bat. So there's that level of mutual respect. But see, I'm into certain things in my own free time. I like my video games. I like my cartoons. And I like my comedy and pop culture and stuff. I think a lot of it's fascinating. Especially how to, dissecting it and figuring out where it comes from. And like, I love cameos and, intersection of, references and stuff like that too. It's funny how things get called back upon even when they supposed to be exist in separate universes. It's just things like that. I love novelty, but crap. But when you're talking about value, when you're talking about respect, as in, see, I'm not really like I like to fish. I like to get a once in a while I like to get a fishing pole and some bait and go out there on the side of a pond or a river or something, maybe catch a couple fish. I'm very, very casual in fishing. We have a couple of guys at work. I mean, go out on the rivers and stuff. Go out in the on the ocean. Go up to the Great Lakes sometimes. Take a trip up there. Getting on these big 16, 15-foot boats. Saltwater fishing, motors and all this and that, and they can tell you every bait and every rig and jig and spinner and hook and flange and every damn thing else. See, when it comes down to that, hey, I want to know a little bit of something about fishing. I respect you guys and your knowledge enough that I'm going to ask you, hey, I have respect for your knowledge of fishing. I have respect of your knowledge of hunting and game and wildlife. Can you tell me a few things? Sure, no problem. But if one of these guys are going to come to me only just maybe say casually watching a couple of stand-up comedy shows once in a while when they're bored and drunk or whatever, or oh yeah, I heard about this this cartoon and everything, and well, let me tell you about that, and I'm gonna no, stop you there, and you don't have an opinion, you don't know what you're talking about, I can't respect your opinion, I can't respect you or your opinion when you start doing that. So this level of respect here, and it had to deal with more with kind of foul language and colorful talk. And my whole thing is, well, first of all, if you're offended so much that you can't take a joke, I mean, really? I understand in the workplace somewhat. The whole situation there was they made such of a big deal about it. Now everybody's walking on eggshells. But as I said, I told them, well, if I look up to one of my coworkers and we are cool like that, and I call him a name or something, and tell him this and that and whatever, and he chuckles and I chuckle and we get a laugh out of it, then that, I don't see why not. I mean, most guys do that. But, oh, well, what if somebody's standing there and happened to hear you say that? Well, I wasn't addressing them. I wasn't bringing them into the conversation. Well, they still could have been offended. Well, they're still sticking their nose in where it don't belong, aren't they? It's, it's stuff like that. Like, I don't have that much of a level of respect to walk on eggshells around people and keep my mouth shut about certain things, especially when I'm not addressing them. Now, I'm not going to look over that other person and tell them, shut the fuck up, you ignorant, horrendous hag beast. No, I'm not going to do that. But what I say to another person should not be offensive to another person walking in if I'm not addressing them. It's this whole people unable to suspend their disbelief. It's this whole people are unable to compartmentalize and keep things within the context, within the situation. That's why women are so pissed off about violence and sexism in video games and all this blah, 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 on TV. And can't you watch a movie, watch a TV show, listen to a song, play a video game, and when you're done, keep it in its own little box and go, okay, that was that. Let's put this back in its box now and put it back up on the shelf. This that happened in this video game, in this movie, in this TV show, does not happen in my real life. It's not going to jump out of the screen and fucking, abuse or objectify or subject me to anything. So this is the whole level of respect here, is that, and this goes back to the whole, well, you don't respect women. Yeah, you're damn right I don't respect women. I don't respect men either. I don't respect anybody in that context. I mean, I respect people. As in, you have your baseline value. Now, work your way up to why I should place more value on you. What skills do you have? What knowledge do you possess? How can you benefit me and benefit others with your presence? Then I will respect you. That first girlfriend sit around the house all day long, this, that, whatever. No respect for her whatsoever. And she, although she should have, couldn't find the respect for me, even though I worked, brought home my paycheck, paid all the bills, kept everything on. The only thing she bought was food out of her money, and then her cigarettes and whatever, because I told her if you were going to piss and bitch and complain about what we were going to eat, then you were going to buy all the food. But, I mean, what value did she really have? And in value, placing value on somebody, that's respect. So, essentially, I had no respect for her. Right there. It's not because she was a woman. It's because she was a worthless human being. Or at least close to worthless. Not potential-less, but in that current configuration, essentially worthless. She was, she was just a boat anchor. A boat anchor on my clipper ship that was headed, hell-bent for the ocean. So, that whole level of respect thing is bullshit. It's skewed. It's overused. It's been bastardized. A lot of things that, like women will say to dismiss their own behavior. Live, laugh, love. What the fuck is that? When did this become a thing? How did it come about? What the fuck was this? Live, laugh, love. I mean, yeah, live a whore's life, laugh at everybody else who doesn't, and love every dick that comes along. That seems to me, that's what it sounds like to me. Because I always see this with these vapid women who are just so completely into themselves that they have no value. They have no real value. They present themselves as a fuck toy. I saw this one chick one time, was a coworker I worked with. Had a little thing for her. Looked up her Facebook profile. She was so piss fucking proud of making a pumpkin pie one time. Like, you had your mama help you. Like, are you making, you making anything else? But she was all about that shit too. And I'm like, man, what this is one of the more confusing ones to me. Just live, laugh, love. Like, is this more like this eat, pray, love, fucking, sisterhood of the traveling pants, yaya sisterhood fucking bullshit, pretty much just have no responsibility and whatever until it's damn near too late, and then have somebody else take responsibility for you when you can't coast off of everybody else's good graces. That's kind of what it feels like to me. The heart wants what the heart wants. Well, first of all, when you talk about the heart, you're talking about love, and we know love doesn't exist. Love is a series of chemical reactions that really is lust, and lust is only there to make you reproduce. As SFM would say, put a baby in that. They're just hunting for the baby batter at this point. So this whole, heart wants what the heart wants is more of, no, the body, the lusting part of my body wants what it wants. All logic and reason go out the window because, good time. These are the same ones later on that, want to try to rope in a man when he's, done been in his fucking 30s and shit and done established his life. I was going somewhere else too with this. The heart wants what the heart wants. It's illogical. It's that chemical reaction. And, I found it now. The chemical reaction, this love thing. Like, people want to sit there and talk about the whole, you don't want to die alone, do you? No, it's not that. There's no such thing. Everybody dies alone. I mean, unless you go off a cliff in a full bus full of people, or you and your whole entire family get taken out by a freight train or something, you're not going to die alone for the most part. What people are afraid of is living alone. People are afraid of living their life without somebody else, without somebody else's validation, without somebody's support, without somebody's provision. Okay? So, what people think of as love starts out as lust and turns out to be not wanting a change, not wanting to have to deal with change, not wanting to have to deal without this certain thing, and not wanting to have to change in order for it to happen. This is the same reason why women don't care about when they kick men out of the house anymore, because they get alimony and child support and whatever. So they can still live the life. Nothing really will change except that guy. So it's not really even the person. It's the value that that person gives to you is what this long-lasting love shit is. It's just, getting used to and not wanting to have a change in the way you're living. You can transpose one man for the other with the exact same assets, job, and everything else in the middle of the night, and the woman would probably wake up and not know the difference. At least not eventually won't care. So it's shit like that. Or plenty of fish in the sea is one of them. Again, that's that same whole someone for everyone. They're a pot for every lid. Weight and whatever. Work hard, play hard. A lot of people up their own ass like to say this, and the problem is with these people, they play harder, a whole hell of a lot harder than they work. It's just a way to kind of justify shitty behavior outside of responsibilities and try to upsell what little work has been done in the meantime, in between time. be careful what you wish for. Actually, this one here isn't kind of wrong. It kind of goes back to, I mean, it's still just a boom blanket statement, be all end all, but it goes back to what I was saying about better than love and lost than not love at all. And some people are in such of an all hellfire hurry to get into a relationship and to be with somebody that they end up making a lot of the wrong choices, stupid decisions, and it's ridiculous. But we get a lot of these empty sayings too, and a lot of it's projection and deflection too. Going back to the, oh, you're just a virgin, you don't love any, you won't, nobody will love you. You hate women. Why are you so angry? That's another one. Why are you so angry? If you really knew why I was so angry, or why I was, as I've said in one of my other videos before, I'm in the depression stage. I'm trying to work my way out of the depression stage. I stayed in my red pill rage for a good little while. I think longer than what I felt I should have. And now it's just when things like this, when I see dumb shit on the internet, dumb articles and shit, still bashing men, still bashing white men, still bashing any man, masculinity, this whole sex robot thing, that's laughable. It's going to harm their view. What was the wording? It's going to appeal to men that find women's independence a threat. And I have no problem with women being independent. As a matter of fact, that's the problem. Most of them are not independent. If you were independent, we wouldn't have a lot of this stupid shit going on. But, I mean, it was just blah, 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 misogyny and control and power and this and that, and Stepford wife this and perfect wife that, and, slave and domination this and that. And I got so pissed for a second. And I just took a breath and I'm like, no, it's not worth it. It's not where I'm to that point now where there's no point in even arguing with people, because then they start that. You never had a woman, you'll never get a woman, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're this, that, you're misogynist, basically, if you don't bow down to and listen to women and everything that they say, that's that whole respect thing, like I'm just automatically supposed to take everything that comes out of their mouth as word. I don't believe anything comes out of anybody's mouth, man, woman, or in between. You have to prove yourself to me. So whatever. But then there's, there's other stupid shit. Like you have to crack a few eggs in order to make an omelet. You have to take risks. You have to this, that, whatever. Which is more or less saying, nah, come on, dude, do some stupid shit. Come on now. Why not? Go ahead and do some stupid shit. And it was a video these guys were making this morning, live stream. It pissed me off so bad I couldn't even stand it. One dude was trying to argue about going ahead and taking risks and encouraging men to go ahead and take them, or at least encouraging the teaching of mitigating the risks because they knew they were going to take them anyway, which, I think we need to be teaching, more men the risks and say, hey, don't do this. We're trying. But of course, you can't get the message out without somebody wanting to bastardize the hell out of it. But my whole thing is, you see a shark-infested pool, water filled with sharks, don't jump in. You see that the eye on the stove is hot, don't touch it. You see that there's a piece of metal sticking out of your electrical socket, don't touch it. You see somebody drunk and going on and whatever and wants to get in the car and drive. Do your best to keep the keys away from him, but don't get in the car either. When you know the risks and you do it anyway, that's stupidity. There's no fixing stupidity. Oh, here's another one. Forgive and forget. I hear this shit a lot too from women. especially my mother, when it comes down to shit that's happened in the past. Forgive and forget. It's so I'm just supposed to forgive and forget every little, you know, like I'm not nitpicking on like small things, like the time she didn't buy the shit at the store I wanted when I was 7 or some shit. But I mean, letting the men beat the hell out of us and verbally and physically berate us and all this and that other shit, and still staying with him. And I'm supposed to just somehow, yeah, okay, that's fine. And then she keep doing shit like calling me up in the middle of the night when she knows I'm supposed to be working or sleeping, just for me to bring over, I don't know, back when I smoked pot with her and everything, to bring over something for her to smoke because she didn't have anything. It's like, Mom, I gotta go to bed. I got shit to do tomorrow. Oh, you could just come over here for an hour. Like, no, I can't. I'm not going to. So you don't love your mama. You just don't. Oh, I see how it is. Well, I just won't call you anymore then. It's like, oh, motherfucker. And it took me a long while to get over that and to get away from her using that manipulation and control. Because I tried to forgive and forget, and I still kept getting fucked over. I cannot forgive or forget. I'm just pretty much going to have to treat that person, any normal person, she's my mother, yes, but certain few things I will help her with because I know she can't get up and do on her own, and I mean physically. She's in a condition now where even if she was to get a place of her own, she's probably not in no shape to drive, so I'd have to do grocery shopping and stuff like that. But for the most part, they're going to have nurse aides and stuff coming in there every day. They can help her out. That's what the government gets paid all my tax money for. That's what this healthcare bullshit's about. Let them do it. Let them take advantage. That's what this socialism shit's going to do. Let them take care of it. I can't sit here and hold my life back any more than it already has been held back because of her. So this forgive and forget shit is bullshit. You find people will still keep doing the same shit to you if you don't watch and remember and treat these people like they're out to get you, because they are. So like I said, I really didn't have a specific general direction to go with on talking. I see that I'm in my audio program, I'm 58 minutes into it, so about an hour long or so, I guess, would be about ideal. I didn't, like I said, didn't have a real specific thing other than to talk about these empty platitudes and these thought-terminating cliches, because it's something maybe I'd like to get together with the guys and talk a little bit more on, either tonight if I'm available, if I ain't passed out drunk or whatever. And yes, I know I shouldn't be drinking, and I'm well aware of my problem. But maybe we could talk about this tonight or some other time, get a few people together and really kind of analyze this thing. But yeah, it's empty platitudes and thought-terminating cliches that really just stifle any kind of means of coming to a productive end to a problem that's going to keep persisting if we don't do something about it. I know MGTOW and for the most part advocate for living for yourself and living a better life, but when you still come across these people like this, and they don't want to hear anything. They start asking you inflammatory questions, and you give them the answer, and they still don't want to hear it. Then they start with all these cliches and bullshit, and so I've had that happen a couple of times here recently, and the whole No Filter cast, he kind of got me thinking on this thing. So anyway, on that, I'm going to go ahead and end it. We'll be seeing you guys around, and take care, you bastards.